welcome back to Mexico News Network. Now, medical tourism, a term that has gained great popularity during the past year, a concept that means to provide a wholesome service to those undergoing surgical, medical, or aesthetic procedures. Cancun and Riviera Maya are not falling behind in the idea and are introducing brand new services for this particular market niche. This is the case of the 4 Points Hotel, who has teamed up with Cisco Unified Communications as well as Cancun's Galenia Hospital to become the first medically interconnected hotel. The new connection allows medical tourism patients staying at the 4 Points to have an interconnected network with the hospital, offering a higher standard of medical care. Cancun's 4 Points Hotel has 108 rooms and 4 suites designated for the service. The rooms are fully equipped with enterprise calls, class IP telephone call processing, data, as well as voice services, Wi-Fi, advanced mobility capabilities, and rich conferencing services. Ramon Guevara, General Director of Factor Integración, says that working alongside Cisco has allowed them to support the Galenia Hospital in becoming the very first hospital with a medical-grade network in which they can then cement their position in the medical tourism market. The 4 Points is the first hotel to be interconnected with a hospital. This connection will help physicians to offer high-tech communication to their patients. Rogelio Velasco, VP of Cisco Mexico, explains, Cisco Medical Grade Network Solutions give medical personnel anytime, anywhere, access to patients' information under a tailor-made, reliable, and highly secure network. Having the 4 Points Hotel connected to Hospital Galenia by way of Cisco technology will give healthcare practitioners the confidence to maintain communication in all premises that can support them in their daily patient care work. Mexico is a diverse country culturally and genetically speaking. Geneticists of the University of California and the University of Stanford have managed to trace the history of Mexico using a genetic map, which could be used to transform medical diagnostic tools and treatments. The team of researchers created a blueprint of Mexico's genetic diversity using a sample of 20 indigenous genomes from all over Mexico and 11 from people from Mexico and the southwestern United States. This with mixed indigenous Mexican and European ancestry, commonly known as mestizo. According to Carlos Bustamante, a genetician at Stanford University, because of geographical barriers, indigenous populations have developed many genetic differences which can represent a problem for their descendants, mainly because these variants can increase the risk of diseases or resistance to medicines. After an analysis of 511 indigenous individuals, the team concluded that the most divergent indigenous groups in Mexico are as different from each other as Europeans are from East Asians. As a consequence of the Spanish conquest, indigenous communities interbred with European as well as African populations, and their descendants today make up the current population of Mexico. Thanks to the collaboration of the Mexican National Institute of Genomic Medicine, Dr. Bustamante's team could learn that the rare gene variations in indigenous people were also present in the mestizo population, making it even possible to track their indigenous ancestors. An easy example of this are the genetic Maya markers found in people from the Yucatan Peninsula. These markers are also present in people from Veracruz, which reflects the trade and migration routes both populations shared. Beyond the historical and social benefits that this investigation can have, its main objective is to determine how genetic variation could influence the health of the current population. Esteban Burchard, a pulmonologist at UC's San Francisco campus, analyzed the results and concluded that Depending upon the type of Native American ancestry you have, it can dramatically influence the diagnosis of lung disease in a good or a bad way. Now, experts believe on new evidence. Records that demonstrate that a tsunami struck the Yucatan Peninsula over 1,000 years ago. The beautiful white sandy beaches of the Yucatan Peninsula are awe-inspiring places with unique features. Their crystal clear turquoise waters and are the ideal year-round climate make them some of the most preferred tourism destinations for visitors from all over the world. However, one fine day in the past, conditions may not have been so hospitable. Recently, researchers from Mexico's Akumal Ecology Center, the CEA, in collaboration with the University of Colorado in Boulder, found possible evidence of a tsunami that would have stricken the white coasts of the Yucatan Peninsula approximately 1,000 years ago. This hypothesis is based on the discovery of a trail of berm, which is a natural raised barrier separating two areas with the shape of the coastline, including Playa del Carmen, Tulum, and Cancun. Experts found coral and fine-grained limestone covering the berm. These materials can be found at the bottom of the sea in coral reefs. A colossal degree of energy would have required in order to extract such large amount of minerals and place them so far inland onto the surface. Theoretically speaking, the tsunami would have generated waves 15 feet or higher, making for a devastating natural phenomenon in ancient times, back when the ancient Maya civilization was at its maximum splendor. Larry Benson, an anthropologist of the Natural History Museum of the University of Colorado, added that the tsunami could have been caused by different kinds of events ranging from an earthquake to an underwater landslide to even volcanic eruptions or even a meteorite striking the ocean. However, experts added that the tsunamis are not frequent events in the area, as only 37 have been registered in the Caribbean basin since 1492. Almost 2,000 years ago, one of the most advanced civilizations of the human history disappeared without a reason. Today, researchers believe that the underwater lagoon of Blue Hole in Belize can tell us the story behind this ancient mystery. So many theories have emerged along the years. Some say that it was a mass suicide, a disease, or even an intensive famine. However, the truth is getting closer and turning clearer as we go by. A brand new study led by Rice University specialists has shown that a sudden climate change may have been the responsible suspect for this massive disappearance of people. However, how was this conclusion drawn up, you may wonder? This was thanks to an example of sand. Earth scientist Andre Draxler explained that during storms or wetter period, excess water runs off from rivers and streams, which overtops the retaining walls and is deposited then in a thin layer at the top of the lagoon. From that point onwards, all the sediments from these streams settle to the bottom of the lagoon, piling on top of each other and leaving a chronological record on the historical climate. Using this sediment as a time machine, researchers can observe the climate changes for thousands of years. This, along a 2012 study of a 2,000-year-old stalagmite, confirmed that the Maya civilization went through a severe reduction of rainfall, which is almost 100 years with no rain. This was the responsible act of God for 2 long periods of drought and famine. The first one was set between the years 800 AD and 1000 AD, causing the Mayas to move north, establishing the city of Chichen Itza in the Yucatan Peninsula. However, unfortunately, the second period struck again between 1000 AD and 1100 AD. According to the archaeologists, this time coincided with the fall of the new city. The theory of the climate change isn't new, however, the most solid until today. Research into the blue hole will continue, and maybe soon we could have an official explanation to the disappearance of this ancient, vast, and impressive civilization. For more information, don't forget to log on to our website, www.mexiconewsnetwork.com, and follow us on social networks on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, on Mexico News Network. We'll be right back after a few messages from our sponsors.